Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when you must choose between your self-respect and the fleeting comfort of companionship. It's a critical moment, a test of your character, because allowing yourself to be used, manipulated, or taken for granted is the slow erosion of your very essence. And let me be clear, being alone is not a curse, it is a form of liberation. When you choose to stand alone rather than submit to a dynamic where you're undervalued, you're making a profound statement about who you are. You're declaring that your time, your energy, and your emotional resources are not commodities to be exploited. This isn't selfishness, this is self. The value of self-respect is one of the most fundamental principles that shape a fulfilling and meaningful life. It serves as the foundation upon which your identity, choices, and interactions are built. To prioritize self-respect is to acknowledge your intrinsic worth as a person and to recognize that this worth is not contingent upon external validation or the approval of others. When you compromise your self-respect, you trade a lasting sense of integrity and dignity for fleeting moments of comfort, security, or connection. This trade over time can leave you feeling hollow and disconnected from your true self. At its core, self-respect is about understanding and accepting yourself as you are, your strengths, weaknesses, and all the complexities that make you unique. It's the belief that your value as a person is inherent and not dependent on how others perceive or treat you. This belief is what allows you to set boundaries, to say no when necessary, and to walk away from situations or people that undermine your dignity. Without self-respect, you may find yourself tolerating behavior that chips away at your sense of worth, whether it's being taken advantage of, disrespected, or manipulated. When you prioritize self-respect, you also cultivate a sense of self-awareness. You begin to understand what truly matters to you, your values, your goals, and the kind of life you want to lead. This awareness empowers you to make decisions that align with your principles rather than decisions driven by fear, insecurity, or the need for approval. For instance, choosing to walk away from a relationship where you feel used or undervalued might be painful in the short term, but it is a powerful affirmation of your worth in the long term. It's a decision that says, I deserve better, and I will not settle for less. In relationships, whether personal or professional, self-respect acts as a guiding compass. It prevents you from entering into or remaining in situations where you are undervalued or exploited. People who lack self-respect often find themselves in one-sided relationships, where they give far more than they receive, whether it's time, energy, or emotional support. These dynamics can be draining and can leave you feeling resentful, unappreciated, and even trapped. However, when you value yourself, you naturally seek relationships that are reciprocal and based on mutual respect. You understand that a healthy connection is one where both parties uplift and support each other, rather than one where one party consistently takes at the expense of the other. Self-respect also plays a critical role in how you handle adversity and setbacks. Life is filled with challenges, and there will inevitably be times when you face criticism, rejection, or failure. Without a strong sense of self-respect, these experiences can feel like personal attacks, leading you to question your worth or capabilities. However, when you respect yourself, you are better equipped to see these moments as opportunities for growth rather than as reflections of your value. You learn to separate your worth from your circumstances, understanding that your dignity remains intact regardless of external outcomes. It's important to recognize that self-respect is not about arrogance or an inflated sense of self-importance. It's not about placing yourself above others or demanding unwarranted praise or admiration. Instead, it's about treating yourself with the same kindness, compassion, and consideration that you would extend to a close friend. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of love, respect, and care simply because you exist, and not because of what you can offer to others or how well you conform to their expectations. Building and maintaining self-respect often requires courage. It can mean making difficult choices, such as ending a toxic relationship, standing up for yourself in the face of unfair treatment, or pursuing a path that others may not understand or approve of. These choices can be uncomfortable, even frightening, because they often involve a degree of uncertainty and risk. However, they are also deeply liberating, as they affirm your commitment to living. Self-respect has a ripple effect on every aspect of your life. When you respect yourself, you naturally command respect from others. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with confidence and integrity, and they are more likely to treat you with the same respect that you show to yourself. Conversely, when you allow others to use or exploit you, you inadvertently send the message that such behavior is acceptable. By prioritizing self-respect, you set the standard for how you expect to be treated, and you encourage others to rise to that standard. The value of self-respect cannot be overstated. It is the cornerstone of a fulfilling life, guiding your decisions, shaping your relationships, and empowering you to navigate life's challenges with dignity and grace. To prioritize self-respect is to honor your worth, to protect your boundaries, and to choose authenticity over conformity. It is a choice that requires courage and commitment, but it is also a choice that leads to a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose. When you value yourself, you create a life that reflects that value, a life where you are not only respected by others, but more importantly, by yourself. Solitude is often misunderstood in a society that places a high value on constant social engagement and external validation. Many people fear being alone, equating it with loneliness or a lack of worthiness. However, solitude is not the same as isolation or rejection. It is a state of being with oneself, free from distractions and external influences. It offers an unparalleled opportunity to reflect, grow, and cultivate inner strength. Far from being a sign of weakness, choosing solitude can be an act of immense courage and a testament to your resilience. When you embrace solitude, you create the space to truly know yourself. In the absence of external noise and demands, you are free to explore your thoughts, emotions, and aspirations without judgment or interruption. This self-awareness is crucial for personal growth, as it allows you to identify what truly matters to you, your values, passions, and goals, rather than being swayed by societal expectations or the opinions of others. Without this introspection, it's easy to lose sight of who you are and what you stand for, becoming entangled in a life that doesn't reflect your authentic self. Solitude also fosters self-reliance. When you spend time alone, you learn to trust yourself, to make decisions without constantly seeking input or approval from others. This independence is empowering, as it reinforces your ability to navigate life's challenges on your terms. It teaches you that you are capable of handling adversity, that you can rely on your inner resources to find solutions and adapt to changing circumstances. This confidence in your own abilities becomes a source of strength that carries over into every aspect of your life. The solitude provides the mental and emotional clarity needed to assess your relationships and priorities. When you're constantly surrounded by people or immersed in social dynamics, it's easy to lose perspective and fall into patterns that don't serve you. You might find yourself maintaining relationships out of obligation, fear of being alone, or a desire to avoid conflict, even if those relationships are unhealthy or one-sided. Taking time for yourself allows you to evaluate these connections objectively. Are they built on mutual respect and genuine care, or are they draining your energy and undermining your sense of self-worth? Solitude gives you the clarity and courage to make necessary changes, to let go of relationships that no longer align with your values or contribute positively to your life. Another powerful aspect of solitude is its role in fostering creativity and problem solving. When you're alone, free from external distractions, your mind has the freedom to wander and explore new ideas. This mental space is where innovation and insight often emerge, allowing you to approach challenges from fresh perspectives and uncover solutions that may have eluded you in more crowded, noisy environments. Some of the greatest achievements and breakthroughs in history have been born from moments of quiet contemplation, where individuals had the time and focus to think deeply and creatively. It's important to recognize that solitude can be uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not accustomed to spending time alone. Many people turn to social interactions or distractions to avoid confronting their inner thoughts or unresolved emotions. However, this discomfort is not something to be feared. It is a sign of growth. Sitting with your thoughts, even when they are difficult or unsettling, is a courageous act of self-discovery. It allows you to confront your fears, insecurities, and past experiences, ultimately leading to greater self-acceptance and emotional resilience. Solitude also teaches you to appreciate your own company. When you embrace being alone, you begin to realize that you are enough, that your value is not determined by how many friends you have, how often you're invited to social events, or how others perceive you. This realization is profoundly liberating, as it frees you from the need to seek external validation. You learn to find joy and fulfillment in your own pursuits, whether it's reading a book, going for a walk, pursuing a hobby, or simply sitting in quiet reflection. This self-sufficiency allows you to approach relationships from a place of abundance rather than neediness, fostering healthier and more balanced connections. Choosing solitude is not about isolating yourself permanently or rejecting meaningful relationships. It's about recognizing that your relationship with yourself is the foundation for all other relationships. When you take the time to nurture this connection, you build a solid foundation of self-awareness, confidence, and emotional strength that enables you to engage with others in a more authentic and fulfilling way. As a result, for, quote, the solitary man within me, you become less likely to tolerate being used, manipulated, or undervalued because you've experienced the strength and contentment that come from standing on your own. Solitude is not something to be feared or avoided. It is a powerful tool for personal growth and self-discovery. It allows you to reconnect with your true self, build inner strength, and gain clarity about your values and priorities. While it may feel uncomfortable at first, embracing solitude can lead to profound transformation, helping you cultivate a deeper sense of confidence, resilience, and fulfillment. By choosing to spend time alone, you honor your worth and invest in your future, creating a life that is grounded in authenticity and self-respect. The dangers of exploitative relationships cannot be overstated, as they erode not only your sense of self-worth, but also your ability to trust and connect meaningfully with others. At first glance, exploitative relationships can be difficult to identify. They often begin subtly, with small requests or actions that seem harmless or justified. Over time, however, they can escalate into patterns where one person consistently benefits at the expense of the other. These dynamics leave the exploited individual feeling drained, unappreciated, and often confused about how the relationship has reached such an unbalanced state. In an exploitative relationship, one person typically prioritizes their own needs, desires, or goals while disregarding the well-being or boundaries of the other. This can manifest in various ways: emotionally, financially, socially, or even professionally. For example, you might find yourself always giving emotional support to someone who never reciprocates, doing favors without acknowledgement, or being manipulated into decisions that benefit them while disregarding your own interests. These patterns are not random. They are often the result of subtle, calculated behaviors designed to maintain control or gain advantage. The impact of being in such a relationship is profound. Over time, you may begin to question your own judgment, wondering if you're being unreasonable for feeling dissatisfied or taken for granted. This self-doubt is a common tactic used by exploitative individuals who may gaslight you into believing that their actions are normal or that you are at fault for feeling the way you do. This erodes your confidence and makes it increasingly difficult to assert your needs or recognize when you're being mistreated. One of the most insidious aspects of exploitative relationships is how they can create a dependency dynamic. The exploiter often manipulates you into believing that you need them more than they need you. They might offer occasional moments of kindness or validation, keeping you tethered to the relationship in the hope that things will improve. These fleeting moments act as a form of reinforcement, making it harder for you to leave, even when the overall pattern is harmful. This cycle can trap you in a state of emotional or psychological reliance, preventing you from breaking free and reclaiming your autonomy. Recognizing an exploitative relationship requires a willingness to evaluate the dynamics honestly and objectively. It can be challenging, especially when emotions are involved or when the other person holds a position of authority or influence in your life. Ask yourself, is this relationship reciprocal? Do I feel valued and respected, or do I constantly feel like I'm giving more than I'm receiving? Am I being heard and understood, or are my needs consistently dismissed or minimized? These questions can help you identify whether the relationship is serving you or draining you. Breaking free from an exploitative relationship is often difficult, but it is an essential step toward reclaiming your sense of self and restoring balance in your life. The first step is acknowledging the reality of the situation and giving yourself permission to prioritize your well-being. This may involve setting boundaries, having honest conversations, or, in some cases, while these actions can be uncomfortable and may even provoke resistance from the other person, they are necessary for protecting your mental and emotional health. It's also important to recognize that exploitative relationships don't just happen by chance. They often thrive in environments where boundaries are unclear or where one person is overly accommodating. Learning to set and enforce boundaries is a critical skill in preventing exploitation. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about defining what is acceptable and unacceptable and how others treat you. To decide what you can set and what you can expect anyone else to accept and unacceptable, they communicate your self-respect and ensure that your time, energy, and resources are not taken for granted. In addition to setting boundaries, cultivating self-awareness is key to avoiding exploitative dynamics. Understand your own tendencies and vulnerabilities. For example, if you have a strong desire to please others or a fear of conflict, you may be more susceptible to being exploited. While these traits are not inherently negative, they can be used against you by those who seek to take advantage. By acknowledging these tendencies, you can work to strike a balance between being kind and generous while also protecting yourself. The long-term effects of freeing yourself from an exploitative relationship are transformative. Once you remove yourself from a dynamic that depletes you, you create space for healthier, more balanced relationships to enter your life. You also strengthen your ability to recognize and avoid similar patterns in the future. This newfound clarity and confidence allow you to approach relationships from a place of mutual respect and shared values, rather than from a sense of obligation, guilt, or fear. It's also worth noting that addressing exploitative relationships can inspire others to do the same. When you stand up for yourself and refuse to tolerate mistreatment, you model the importance of self-respect and boundary setting for those around you. This ripple effect can encourage others to evaluate their own relationships and make healthier choices, contributing to a culture where exploitation is less likely to thrive. Exploitative relationships are deeply harmful, but they are not insurmountable. By recognizing the signs, setting boundaries, and prioritizing your well-being, you can break free from these dynamics and reclaim your sense of worth. It may be a challenging process, but it is also an empowering one, allowing you to cultivate relationships that uplift and enrich your life rather than diminish it. The strength and clarity you gain from this journey will serve as a foundation for a more fulfilling and authentic existence. The importance of setting boundaries cannot be overstated when it comes to building a healthy and fulfilling life. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define what you will and will not tolerate in your relationships, interactions, and personal space. They are not just rules for others, but also commitments you make to yourself to protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being. Far from being a sign of selfishness or rigidity, setting boundaries is an act of self-respect and an essential skill for maintaining balanced, respectful, and mutually beneficial relationships. Boundaries serve as a way of communicating your needs, values, and limits to the people around you. They clarify expectations and ensure that interactions are based on mutual respect rather than unspoken assumptions or one-sided demands. Without clear boundaries, you may find yourself constantly overextending, saying yes when you mean no, and prioritizing others' needs at the expense of your own. Over time, this can lead to feelings of resentment, exhaustion, and even a loss of identity. as you become increasingly disconnected from your own desires and priorities. Establishing boundaries begins with self-awareness. Before you can communicate your limits to others, you need to understand what those limits are. It requires honest reflection on what matters most to you, your time, energy, values, and emotional health. For instance, you might realize that you need uninterrupted time. This clarity is the foundation of effective boundary setting, as it enables you to articulate your needs confidently and assertively. One common misconception about boundaries is that they create distance or conflict in relationships. In reality, the opposite is often true. Healthy boundaries foster trust, respect, and understanding, as they establish clear guidelines for how people can engage with you in a way that feels good for both parties. For example, setting a boundary might mean telling a friend that you need to finish your work before chatting, or letting a family member know that you're not comfortable discussing certain personal matters. These actions are not about pushing people away. They are about ensuring that interactions remain positive and respectful. It's important to recognize that setting boundaries is not always easy, especially if you're not used to doing it. You may worry about how others will react, fear being perceived as selfish, or feel guilty for saying no. These feelings are natural, but they should not deter you from asserting your needs. Remember, setting boundaries is not about controlling others. It's about taking responsibility for your own well-being. You are not obligated to sacrifice your comfort, values, or happiness to accommodate someone else's expectations. Learning to say no is a critical part of boundary setting. Many people struggle with this simple word, fearing that it will lead to rejection, disappointment, or conflict. However, saying no is not inherently negative. It's a way of prioritizing what's important to you and ensuring that your resources are not spread too thin. When you say no to something that doesn't align with your values or capacities, you create space to say yes to what truly matters. This shift in perspective can be empowering, as it allows you to take control of your time and energy rather than being at the mercy of external demands. Another key aspect of boundary setting is consistency. It's not enough to establish boundaries, you must also enforce them. This means holding others accountable when they cross your limits and reinforcing your expectations through your actions. For example, if you've communicated that you're unavailable during certain hours, you need to resist the temptation to answer calls or respond to messages. Consistency sends a clear message that your boundaries are non-negotiable, making it more likely that others will respect them in the future. At the same time, it's important to approach boundary setting with compassion and flexibility. Not everyone will immediately understand or accept your boundaries, especially if they're used to a different dynamic. Be patient and willing to explain your reasoning when necessary, but remain firm in your commitment to honoring your needs. It's also worth noting that boundaries can evolve over time as your circumstances, priorities, and relationships change. Regularly reassessing and adjusting your boundaries ensures that they continue to serve you effectively. The benefits of setting boundaries extend far beyond individual relationships. They contribute to your overall sense of balance and well-being, reducing stress and preventing burnout. When you have clear boundaries, you're less likely to feel overwhelmed or overcommitted, as you're able to allocate your time and energy in alignment with your priorities. This in turn enhances your productivity, focus, and emotional resilience, enabling you to approach life with greater confidence and clarity. Setting boundaries empowers others to do the same. When you model healthy boundary setting, you demonstrate the importance of self-respect and mutual respect in relationships. This can inspire those around you to reflect on their own needs and establish boundaries of their own, creating a ripple effect that promotes healthier interactions and a stronger sense of community. Setting boundaries is an essential practice for maintaining healthy relationships, protecting your well-being, and living authentically. While it may require effort, courage, and sometimes uncomfortable conversations, the rewards are well worth it. Boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges to deeper understanding, respect, and connection. By clearly defining your limits and standing by them, you create a life that honors your values, nurtures your growth, and fosters meaningful, balanced relationships. In doing so, you not only safeguard your own happiness, but also contribute to a culture of respect and empathy in the world around you. Prioritizing self-worth is one of the most vital aspects of leading a fulfilling and authentic life. Your self-worth is the foundation upon which your confidence, choices, and overall well-being are built. When you truly understand and embrace your value, you are better equipped to make decisions that align with your needs, aspirations, and integrity. Self-worth is not about arrogance or placing yourself above others. It's about recognizing your inherent value and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. In a world that often measures worth through external metrics like appearance, achievements, or social status, it's easy to lose sight of your intrinsic value. Many people fall into the trap of seeking validation from others, relying on compliments, praise, or acceptance to feel good. About themselves. While external affirmation can be gratifying, it's inherently fleeting and unreliable. True self-worth, on the other hand, comes from within. It is a stable, unshakable belief in your value as a person, independent of external circumstances or opinions. Understanding your self-worth begins with self-awareness and self-acceptance. It requires taking a step back and evaluating how you see yourself and what you believe about your capabilities, strengths, and imperfections. Many individuals struggle with negative self-perceptions, often rooted in past experiences, societal pressures, or comparisons to others. However, these limiting beliefs can be challenged and reframed. Recognizing that you are enough as you are, flaws and all, is a liberating and transformative realization. It allows you to shift your focus from trying to meet unrealistic standards to embracing your authentic self. When you prioritize self-worth, you set the tone for how others treat you. People often take cues from how you value yourself. If you consistently accept less than you deserve, it signals to others that it's acceptable to do the same. Conversely, when you carry yourself with confidence and maintain high standards, you command respect and establish healthy dynamics in your relationships. Prioritizing self-worth doesn't mean you expect perfection or place unreasonable demands on others. It means you refuse to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or exploitation. One of the most significant benefits of prioritizing self-worth is the ability to make decisions that serve your best interests. When you have a strong sense of self-worth, you are less likely to compromise your values or settle for situations that undermine your happiness and growth. For instance, you may choose to walk away from a toxic relationship, decline an opportunity that doesn't align with your goals, or set boundaries with people who overstep them. These decisions can be difficult, but they are acts of self-respect that affirm your worth and protect your well-being. Self-worth also influences how you handle challenges and setbacks. Life is full of ups and downs, and how you perceive yourself during difficult times can make a significant difference in your resilience and ability to overcome adversity. When you have a strong sense of self-worth, you are more likely to view failures as temporary setbacks rather than reflections of your value as a person. This perspective allows you to learn from your experiences, adapt, and keep moving forward without internalizing shame or self-doubt. Cultivating self-worth is not a one-time achievement, but an ongoing process. It requires regular self-reflection and self-care to ensure that you are nurturing and affirming your value. Self-care is not just about physical well-being. It encompasses emotional, mental, and spiritual health as well. This can include practices like setting aside time for activities that bring you joy, seeking therapy or counseling when needed, and surrounding yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. Hobbies. By prioritizing these aspects of your life, you reinforce the message that you are worthy of care and attention. An essential part of prioritizing self-worth is learning to say no without guilt. Many people struggle with this, fearing that declining requests or opportunities will lead to conflict, disappointment, or rejection. However, saying no is not an act of selfishness, it's an act of self-respect. It's a way of honoring your limits and ensuring that your time and energy are directed toward what truly matters to you. Every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your values or priorities, you are saying yes to yourself. and your well-being. Another key element of self-worth is surrounding yourself with positive influences. The people you interact with daily have a profound impact on how you perceive yourself. If you spend time with individuals who uplift, encourage, and respect you, it reinforces your sense of worth. On the other hand, being around people who belittle, criticize, or exploit you can erode your confidence and self-esteem. Choosing your relationships wisely and distancing yourself from toxic influences are crucial steps in prioritizing your self-worth. It's also important to celebrate your achievements and recognize your progress, no matter how small. Often people focus on what they haven't accomplished or what they need to improve, overlooking the strides they've made. Taking time to acknowledge your efforts and successes is a way of affirming your worth and building self-confidence. It reminds you that you are capable and deserving of the good things in life. Prioritizing self-worth is not just about improving your own life, it also has a ripple effect on the world around you. When you value yourself, you inspire others to do the same. You set an example of what it means to live authentically and with integrity, encouraging those around you to respect themselves and their boundaries. This ripple effect creates a culture of mutual respect and empowerment, benefiting not only you, but also your community and relationships. Prioritizing self-worth is a powerful and life-changing practice. It involves recognizing your inherent value, setting boundaries, making decisions that honor your needs, and cultivating relationships that support your growth. By committing to this journey, you create a foundation for a life that is authentic, fulfilling, and aligned with your true self. Embracing your worth is not an act of arrogance, but a declaration of your right to live a life of respect, dignity, and joy. Embracing solitude is an act of courage and self-discovery, a path to reconnect with your inner self and cultivate a deeper understanding of who you are. In a world that often glorifies constant connectivity and social interaction, the idea of being alone is sometimes misunderstood or stigmatized. However, solitude is not the same as loneliness. While loneliness stems from a sense of isolation or disconnection, solitude is a deliberate choice to be with yourself, to reflect, and to grow. It is an opportunity to explore your thoughts, emotions, and desires without the distractions or influences of others. Choosing solitude allows you to step away from the noise of the world and engage in a dialogue with yourself. In the stillness of solitude, you can begin to identify what truly matters to you, free from external pressures or societal expectations. This clarity is crucial for personal growth and self-empowerment. It enables you to differentiate between what you genuinely want and what you've been conditioned to believe you should want. In this way, solitude serves as a space for realignment, helping you focus on your authentic values and aspirations. One of the most profound benefits of solitude is the ability to build self-reliance. When you spend time alone, you learn to trust your instincts, make decisions independently, and navigate life's challenges with confidence. Without the constant input or validation of others, you are compelled to rely on your own judgment and inner strength. This fosters a sense of autonomy and resilience, qualities that are essential for navigating the complexities of life. You come to understand that while the support and presence of others can be valuable, you are fully capable of standing on your own. Solitude also provides the mental and emotional space necessary for creative thinking and problem solving. Many of history's greatest thinkers, artists, and innovators have emphasized the importance of solitude in their work. When you are alone, your mind is free to wander, to explore ideas and possibilities without interruption. This creative freedom can lead to breakthroughs, whether in your career, personal life, or artistic pursuits. The absence of external noise allows you to tap into the depths of your imagination and uncover solutions or insights that may have eluded you in a crowded or chaotic environment. Solitude is a powerful tool for emotional healing and self-care. In the hustle of daily life, it's easy to suppress or ignore your emotions, particularly the difficult ones. Solitude provides a safe space to sit with these feelings, to process them fully, and to gain a better understanding of their origins and significance. This process of self-reflection is essential for emotional well-being, as it allows you to address unresolved issues, release pent-up stress, and develop a healthier relationship with your emotions. In solitude, you can learn to be gentle with yourself, to practice self-compassion, and to honor your emotional needs. Another important aspect of embracing solitude is the way it strengthens your relationships with others. Paradoxically, spending time alone can improve the quality of your social interactions. When you take the time to understand yourself and your needs, you are better equipped to communicate and connect with others authentically. You develop a clearer sense of your boundaries and expectations, which allows you to engage in relationships from a place of strength and self-assurance rather than dependency or fear. Solitude helps you appreciate the value of your connections while ensuring that you are not using them as a substitute for your own sense of fulfillment. Embracing solitude requires a shift in perspective. In a culture that often equates being alone with being unwanted or unsuccessful, choosing solitude can feel uncomfortable or even counterintuitive. It's important to challenge these societal narratives and recognize that solitude is not a sign of failure, but a sign of strength and self-awareness. It is an intentional act of prioritizing your growth and well-being, a declaration that your time and energy are valuable and deserving of care. The practice of solitude can take many forms depending on your preferences and needs. It might involve spending time in nature, journaling, meditating, or simply sitting in silence. The key is to create a space where you can be fully present with yourself, free from distractions or obligations. This practice doesn't require large amounts of time. Even a few moments of solitude each day can have a profound impact on your mental and emotional health. Over time, these moments of quiet reflection can become a source of strength and inspiration, grounding you in your sense of self amid the chaos of life. It's also important to recognize that solitude is not a one-size-fits-all experience. Everyone's journey with solitude is unique, shaped by their personality, experiences, and current circumstances. For some, solitude may come easily and feel natural. For others, it may require effort and intentionality. Regardless of where you fall on this spectrum, the benefits of solitude are accessible to anyone willing to embrace it. It is not about perfection or achieving a specific outcome, but about creating space for self-discovery and personal growth. Embracing solitude is a transformative practice that empowers you to connect with yourself, build resilience, and cultivate a deeper sense of purpose and authenticity. It is a gift you give yourself, an opportunity to step away from the demands of the world and focus on what truly matters. Solitude is not about isolation, but about integration, bringing your inner world into alignment with your outer life. By embracing this practice, you can develop the clarity, confidence, and self-awareness needed to navigate life's challenges with grace and intention. Far from being a sign of weakness or inadequacy, solitude is a testament to your strength, your wisdom, and your commitment to living a life that is true to who you are.